In the early hours of October 1st, Ukraine launched an operation targeting the Novoyaroslavsky oil refinery, located in Russia's Yaroslavl Oblast in the northwest. Ukrainian forces deployed kamikaze-type drones from the nearest positions to the area. The target was successfully struck, and thick smoke began rising from the refinery shortly afterward. Local Russian officials immediately labeled the incident a human-caused accident, denying any link to a drone attack. However, the independent Russian telegram channel Astra confirmed that the fire originated directly within the refinery grounds. Russia's Ministry of Emergency Situations reported that the first emergency call came in at 6:30 local time, while footage of smoke rising over Moskovsky Prospect began spreading across social media at the same moment. Russian authorities refrained from clarifying whether the incident was an accident or sabotage. While the Kyiv Independent could not independently verify the developments, one fact remains clear. Ukraine is continuing its long-range pressure campaign against Russia's energy infrastructure. The targeted Novoyaroslavsky facility is no ordinary refinery. Despite being more than 700 kilometers from the Ukrainian border, it had been attacked before. It is the largest refinery in northern Russia and the fifth largest in the entire country. With an annual processing capacity of 15 million tons of crude oil, it is one of the main arteries feeding Moscow's energy revenues. This strike is part of Ukraine's systematic strategy in recent months, hitting the fuel sources of the Russian economy in parallel with military targets on the front lines. Even though Moscow avoids publicly acknowledging it, the consequences are becoming visible on the ground. Just days ago, a queue of 130 vehicles waiting for LPG was recorded on the Moscow-Kazan Federal M12 highway. These footages show that Russia, which is trying to sustain itself through a war economy, is becoming increasingly vulnerable. The conclusion is simple. Ukraine is no longer merely defending. It is cutting off the lifelines that feed Russia's war machine. Tactically, these strikes are not carried out with a single uniform method. They typically favor multi-layered and combined approaches. Operations that begin with reconnaissance use UAVs and satellite surveillance to identify an objective's vulnerable points, defensive dispositions, and weak spots. Then small scouting drones, electronic warfare elements, or decoy targets may be employed to distract or confuse air defenses. In the main attack phase, a variety of systems can be used. Loitering munitions, weapons that loiter over a target and detonate on impact. Turbojet-powered long-range strike drones, guided cruise missiles, and shorter-range, high-precision FPV attack drones. The combination of these tactics is intended to overwhelm defense systems with multiple simultaneous threat types. For example, electronic warfare may be used first to target GPS and radar, after which kamikaze-class drones are directed straight at fuel storage or pipeline infrastructure. The mix of weapons and equipment employed varies with the operation. Some strikes favor long-range guided munitions with high-explosive warheads, or turbojet-assisted cruise vehicles, which enable strikes on distant, well-protected targets. Other operations rely on cheaper, mass-producible loitering munitions and FPV drones to hit many targets at once. FPV drones are lower cost, yet stand out for their maneuverability and ability to achieve direct hits, though they are limited in range and payload. Electronic warfare suites, GPS jammers, and communications disruptors are also critical supporting elements for successful attacks. These systems can temporarily disable defensive and early warning systems, easing the path for strike platforms to reach their targets. Surveillance, UAVs, ground-based observation teams, satellite imagery, and other unmanned systems form the intelligence backbone of the operation. Another factor determining an operation's success and effect is logistics and preparatory infrastructure. Long-range strike systems require secure launch bases, maintenance and resupply lines, spare parts, and control stations. Hiding drone routes, camouflaging launch sites, and the ability to relocate when necessary all increase operational survivability. For this reason, The attacking side must possess not only strike platforms, but also the capacity to build and sustain a supportive, resilient supply chain. Reconnaissance units of Ukraine's 210th Assault Division detect a Russian infantry group attempting to infiltrate the Zaporizhzhia region using an unmanned aerial vehicle. The footage shows Russian soldiers taking cover among the ruins, seemingly having established an improvised shelter in the area. It is likely that this position had been prepared earlier and is being used as temporary protection. However, the drone operator remains patient, waiting for all the soldiers to fully enter the shelter, a critical moment to ensure maximum effectiveness. After a brief wait, the order to strike is given. The first munition hits the entrance of the shelter, causing panic among those inside. Immediately after, a second and third strike follow. The force of the explosions collapses the earthen fortification. As the dust and smoke begin to clear, it becomes evident that the structure has completely caved in, leaving the Russian soldiers trapped with no chance of escape. The entire operation is completed within minutes. On the Zaporizhzhia front, drone operators from Ukraine's 128th Mountain Assault Brigade launch a large-scale operation. The objective is to neutralize Russian positions in the area, including artillery batteries, armored vehicles, and infantry units. The assault was meticulously planned, following extensive reconnaissance work, with each target carefully marked in advance. The attack drones glide silently across the sky, striking Russian artillery positions first. Plumes of smoke and flames rising from the impact zones indicate that the batteries are quickly silenced. The focus then shifts to armored vehicles. With a rapid dive maneuver, the munition hits its mark, and the vehicle erupts into flames, all captured clearly on camera. Infantry groups are not spared either. Soldiers attempting to move across open terrain are targeted by FPV drones guided precisely by the operators. The compilation footage brings together multiple strikes conducted at different times and locations, revealing how a significant number of Russian assets were destroyed in a short span of time. Detecting and neutralizing isolated enemy infantry on the battlefield using FPV drones has become an increasingly common phenomenon in modern conflicts. Such operations typically result from a comprehensive intelligence and surveillance process. Reconnaissance assets identify suspicious movements, verify positions, and gather up-to-date information about the area. This stage is crucial for determining whether a target is moving alone or if a small group is isolated. FPV drones provide operators with a real-time perspective from the field, helping them assess both the target's movements and the surrounding environment. While monitoring the video feed, operators evaluate whether civilians are present nearby, identify potential escape routes, and assess environmental risks. This assessment process is essential for minimizing civilian casualties and collateral damage during an attack. Once the decision to strike is made, the engagement occurs quickly and efficiently. The intervention against the observed target is limited to a single coordinated strike. The rapid execution ensures both operational success and reduced risk to surrounding elements. The footage collected afterward is analyzed for tactical evaluation and situational awareness, while also providing confirmation that the target has been successfully neutralized.